You keep waiting for life to change while you stay exactly the same. You want a new future built on an old foundation. You want different results while maintaining the same habits. You want your destiny to shift while your character remains stuck. And that is why nothing moves. That is why the door stays closed. That is why the blessing feels distant. Because destiny does not bend to who you are. You must rise to meet it. Let me tell you something that will shake you if you are ready to hear it. Your destiny was designed before you were born. But your ability to walk into it depends entirely on who you become. And most people never reach what was meant for them because they refuse to change. They cry about where they are, but will not confront who they are. They blame the world, blame timing, blame other people, but they will not look in the mirror and admit the truth. The truth is this: you are the obstacle. You are the delay. You are the reason your life has not moved. And until you change, nothing else will. You have been walking in circles for years. Same frustrations, same emotional patterns, same dead-end relationships, same financial struggles, same confusion about what you are supposed to be doing. You keep praying for breakthrough, but you have not broken anything in yourself. You keep asking God to open doors, but you have not developed the character to walk through them. You keep waiting for opportunity, but you are not ready for it. And time is passing. Days turn into months. Months turn into years. And you are still in the same place. Still confused. Still frustrated. Still wondering why life has not changed. And the answer is staring you in the face. Life has not changed because you have not changed. Most people live their entire lives reacting. Something happens and they respond. Someone hurts them and they close off. Someone rejects them and they shrink. They let circumstances shape them instead of choosing who they will become. They become a product of their pain instead of a product of their purpose. And that is not living. That is surviving. That is drifting. That is letting life happen to you instead of happening to life. And you were not created to drift. You were created to rise. You were created to become. You were created to transform. But transformation requires one thing most people are not willing to give. It requires you to let go of the person you have been. You cannot carry your old self into your new season. You cannot drag your old thinking into your new chapter. You cannot hold on to your old wounds and expect to walk in new strength. Something has to die. Something has to be released. Something has to be left behind. And I am not talking about other people. I'm not talking about your environment. I'm talking about you. The version of you that settles. The version of you that complains. The version of you that waits for permission. The version of you that needs validation. The version of you that plays small because you are afraid of being seen. That version has to go. Because your destiny will not fit that version. Your destiny requires a different you. And here is what most people do not understand. Change is not comfortable. Growth is not easy. Becoming who you were meant to be will cost you everything familiar. It will cost you the opinions of people who liked you better when you were broken. It will cost you the comfort of blending in. It will cost you the safety of staying small. And most people are not willing to pay that price, so they stay stuck. They stay safe. They stay small. And they wonder why their life never moves. But you cannot have both. You cannot stay the same and expect everything around you to shift. You cannot hold on to your comfort and walk into your calling. Something has to give, and it has to be you. Let me tell you about a seed. A seed does not look like what it is destined to become. If you saw it lying on the ground, you would not know that inside it lives a tree. You would not know that it carries fruit. You would not know that it holds shade and shelter and life. But the seed knows. Deep inside the seed knows what it is. The problem is this. The seed cannot become a tree while it remains a seed. It has to be buried. It has to be broken. It has to surrender its form. And in that dark, silent place beneath the soil, something happens. The shell cracks. The root pushes down. The shoot pushes up. And what was once small and hard and hidden begins to transform. But if the seed refuses to be buried, it stays a seed forever. It never becomes what it was meant to be. And that is most people. They are seeds refusing to go into the ground. They are potential refusing to be buried. They are greatness refusing to be broken. And because they will not change, they never grow. You have to understand something. The pressure you feel right now is not punishment. It is preparation. The isolation you are walking through is not rejection. It is refinement. The stripping away of everything familiar is not loss. It is liberation. You are being prepared for something you cannot yet see. You are being shaped for a version of your life that does not exist yet. And the shaping process is painful. It feels like everything is falling apart. It feels like you are losing yourself. It feels like you are being forgotten. But you are not falling apart. You are being reconstructed. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. You are not being forgotten. You are being positioned. There is a craftsman who makes swords. He takes raw metal and places it in fire. He heats it until it glows red. Then he takes a hammer and begins to strike it over and over. The metal bends, it breaks, it reshapes, and every strike is intentional. Every blow has purpose. The craftsman is not destroying the metal. He is creating something sharp, something strong, something that will cut through what others cannot. But the process is violent. The process is loud. The process is fire and force and pressure. And if the metal could speak, it would scream. It would beg for the fire to stop. It would beg for the hammer to be put down. But the craftsman knows something the metal does not. He knows what it is becoming. He knows what it will be used for. He knows that without the fire and without the hammer, the metal stays dull. It stays weak. It stays useless. And that is you right now. You are in the fire. You are under the hammer, and it hurts. But you are not being destroyed. You are being sharpened. Before I continue, answer one question honestly. If your life does not change in the next 5 years, if you stay exactly where you are right now, doing exactly what you are doing, feeling exactly what you are feeling, will you be okay with that? Or does something inside you know you were made for more? If you are still listening, something inside you is waking up. Something inside you is refusing to settle. Something inside you knows that this is not the end. This is not your peak. This is not your final form. And that knowing is not random. That knowing is your destiny calling you forward. And it will not stop calling until you answer. But answering requires movement. It requires change. It requires you to step away from what is familiar and walk toward what is unknown. And most people will not do that. They will hear the call and ignore it. They will feel the pull and resist it. They will sense the shift and fight it because the unknown is terrifying. The unknown has no guarantees. The unknown requires faith, and faith is not believing that everything will work out. Faith is moving forward even when you cannot see the outcome. Faith is becoming who you are meant to be even when you do not know what that looks like yet. Faith is letting go of control and trusting the process. And that is where most people stop. They want the promise, but they will not trust the process. They want the destination, but they will not walk the path. They want the reward, but they will not pay the price. You cannot microwave maturity. You cannot skip the seasons. You cannot rush the becoming. There is a time for planting. There is a time for watering. There is a time for waiting. And there is a time for harvest. But most people try to harvest before they plant. They try to reap before they sow. They want the fruit without the root. And it does not work that way. Everything in life has an order. Everything in nature has a sequence. You cannot plant today and harvest tomorrow. You cannot work out once and expect transformation. You cannot read one book and call yourself wise. You cannot change for 1 week and expect a new life. Growth takes time. Becoming takes time. Transformation takes time. And most people quit right before the shift. There is a lion cub born in the wild. At first, it does not know it is a lion. It plays. It stumbles. It imitates the adults. But something is dormant inside. Something has not awakened yet. Then one day the cub hears a roar, not from another lion, from deep within itself. And in that moment, everything changes. The cub stops playing. The cub stops imitating. The cub becomes. It steps into its identity. It steps into its power. It steps into its nature. And nothing can stop it after that. But here is the key. The roar was always inside. The strength was always there. The identity was always present. It just had not been activated yet. And that is you. You have been playing. You have been imitating. You have been pretending. But something is waking up inside you. Something is stirring. Something is about to roar. And when it does, your entire life will shift. But you have to stop waiting for permission. You have to stop waiting for someone to validate you. You have to stop waiting for the right moment. Because the right moment is now. The right season is this one. The right time to change is today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, today. Because you will never feel fully ready. You will never have all the answers. You will never have perfect clarity. But you do not need perfect clarity to take the first step. You just need courage. You just need willingness. You just need to say yes to the version of yourself that is trying to emerge. And let me be clear, this is not about perfection. This is not about having it all together. This is not about becoming someone you are not. This is about shedding who you are not. This is about releasing the false self. This is about letting go of the masks, the defenses, the pretending, the performing. This is about becoming authentic, becoming whole, becoming aligned. Because when you are aligned, everything flows. When you are authentic, the right people show up. When you are whole, the right opportunities appear. But as long as you are fragmented, as long as you are pretending, as long as you are hiding, nothing fits, nothing works. Nothing flows. Because you are out of alignment. You are living someone else's life. You are chasing someone else's dream. You are wearing someone else's identity. And your soul knows it. That is why you feel restless. That is why you feel empty. That is why nothing satisfies you. Because you are living a borrowed life. Your destiny is not borrowed. Your destiny is original. Your destiny is custom designed for you. But you cannot walk in it while pretending to be someone else. You cannot fulfill it while hiding your truth. You cannot step into it while playing small. You have to own who you are. You have to own your story. You have to own your voice. You have to own your presence. And that terrifies most people. Because owning who you are means risking rejection. It means risking judgment. It means risking failure. But let me tell you something. The pain of staying small is greater than the pain of being seen. The pain of living a lie is greater than the pain of being real. The pain of dying with your potential still inside you is greater than any risk you will ever take. There are people waiting for you to become who you are. There are people who need what you carry. There are people who will only be reached by your voice. There are problems that will only be solved by your gift. But none of that happens until you change. None of that happens until you step up. None of that happens until you become. And becoming is not a one-time event. Becoming is a process. It is daily. It is intentional. It is a decision you make over and over again. Every morning you wake up and choose, will I stay who I was, or will I become who I am meant to be? Will I shrink back, or will I rise? Will I play small, or will I take up space? And the choice you make determines everything. You have spent too long shrinking. You have spent too long apologizing for your existence. You have spent too long dimming your light so others feel comfortable. And where has that gotten you? It has gotten you stuck. It has gotten you frustrated. It has gotten you exhausted. Because living small is exhausting. Pretending is exhausting. Hiding is exhausting. And you were not created to live exhausted. You were created to live full. You were created to live free. You were created to live on purpose. But freedom requires change. Fullness requires growth. Purpose requires you to step into the unknown and trust that you will not fall. Let me tell you about forests. Forests do not grow because someone is watching. Forests do not grow because someone is cheering. Forests grow in silence. They grow in darkness. They grow when no one is paying attention. The seed breaks open underground. The root pushes deeper into the soil. The shoot breaks through the surface. And all of it happens quietly. All of it happens hidden. But then one day you look up and there is a tree. One day you look around and there is a forest. And you realize that what looked like nothing was actually everything. What looked like silence was actually preparation. What looked like delay was actually development. And that is your life right now. What looks like nothing is actually everything. What feels like silence is actually preparation. What seems like delay is actually development. You are growing. You are changing. You are becoming. But it is happening in the invisible. It is happening in the quiet. It is happening in the waiting. And most people quit in the waiting because they cannot see the progress. But progress does not always look like movement. Sometimes progress looks like stillness. Sometimes progress looks like letting go. Sometimes progress looks like breaking down so you can be rebuilt. You grow in silence. You heal in silence. You rise in silence. And then one day the world sees what God has been building. One day people notice what pressure has been shaping. One day the fruit appears and everyone asks where it came from. But you know it came from the fire. You know it came from the waiting. You know it came from the breaking. You know it came from the decision to change even when no one was watching. You know it came from becoming even when no one believed. You know it came from trusting the process even when the process was painful. And now you stand at a crossroads. You can keep living the same way and get the same results. Or you can make a decision today that shifts everything. You can decide that you are done playing small. You can decide that you are done waiting for permission. You can decide that you are done being a victim of your circumstances. You can decide that from this moment forward, you are taking responsibility for your life. Not blaming, not complaining, not making excuses. Taking responsibility. Because the moment you take responsibility is the moment you take your power back. The moment you stop blaming others is the moment you start changing yourself. The moment you stop waiting for life to shift is the moment you shift your life. Your destiny is not coming to find you. You have to rise to meet it. You have to grow into it. You have to become the person who can carry it. And that requires change. Real change, deep change. Not surface adjustments. Not temporary motivation. Not New Year resolutions that fade by February. Real transformation. The kind that rewires your thinking. The kind that reshapes your habits. The kind that redefines your identity. And that kind of change is not easy. It is not quick. It is not comfortable. But it is worth it. Because on the other side of that change is the life you have been dreaming about. On the other side of that change is the version of you that you have always known was possible. On the other side of that change is your destiny. But you have to go through. You cannot go around. You cannot skip steps. You cannot shortcut the process. You have to walk through the fire. You have to sit in the pressure. You have to endure the shaping. And every time you want to quit, every time you want to go back, every time you want to settle, you have to remember why you started. You have to remember what you are becoming. You have to remember that this is not punishment. This is preparation. You are not being broken down. You are being built up. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. And the you that emerges from this season will be stronger, wiser, sharper, clearer, more aligned, more powerful than you have ever been. But only if you change. Only if you grow. Only if you refuse to stay the same. So I am asking you today, who are you becoming? Not who are you right now. Not who you have been. Who are you becoming? What version of yourself is trying to emerge? What is your soul calling you toward? What is your destiny demanding from you? And are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to let go of comfort? Are you willing to walk away from what is familiar? Are you willing to become uncomfortable so you can grow? Because your destiny will not change until you do. Your life will not shift until you shift. Your future will not move until you move. And the move has to be internal before it is external. The change has to happen in you before it happens around you. Stop waiting for the world to change. Stop waiting for people to change. Stop waiting for circumstances to change. You change. You shift. You rise. And when you change, everything changes. When you shift, everything shifts. When you rise, everything rises with you. Because you are not separate from your life. You are the center of it. You are the creator of it. You are the architect of it. And if you do not like what you have built, you have the power to tear it down and build again. You have the power to start over. You have the power to become new, but you have to choose it. You have to commit to it. You have to walk it out day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your time. Not to wait, not to hope, not to wish, but to become, to rise, to change. Your destiny is calling, but it will not wait forever. It will not beg. It will not chase. It is simply there, waiting for the version of you who is ready. And that version is being formed right now. In the fire, in the pressure, in the waiting, in the silence, you are becoming. And when the becoming is complete, when the transformation is finished, when you step into alignment with who you were always meant to be, the world will have no choice but to make room. Doors will open. Opportunities will appear. People will show up. Resources will flow. Because destiny does not resist alignment. Destiny responds to it. So, change, grow, become. Let go of who you were and step into who you are. Let go of the past and walk into the future. Let go of fear and walk in faith. Because your destiny won't change until you do. And you are too close to quit now. You are too far to turn back. You are too powerful to stay small. Rise. The world is waiting. If this message spoke to your heart, share it with so